On the deciding day of the Rumble stage, the script has been thrown out the window. 3 spots are up for grabs and everything is possible. But one matchup has the potential to be the most pivotal of all. Evil Geniuses versus PSG Talon.
Baron looks like they're gonna try right now. Inspired, 2K Help Smite, it's gonna go to Evil Geniuses! And I've seen this before! Evil Geniuses in the North River taking down the enemy team!
EG turned up the heat on day 4, taking down the hometown favorites T1 in a huge upset.
7-1, clearly the best team at MSI. RNG take down another.
They are now on the verge of making the knockout stage a huge win for all LCS fans. But in 2021, PSG Talon crushed the dreams of the LCS at MSI, and after the wins against G2, they are poised to repeat history.
Just gonna delete the alley.
Last time they faced off, EG came out on top, but this time the stakes are much higher.
In goes Inspire, they've got 1 so far. Juhan's next, 3 down for Danny. Tryndamere finds the 4th.
For our featured matchup powered by Mercedes-Benz, we have a battle for survival between PSG Talon and Evil Geniuses.
The stakes are through the roof for our next game as PSG Talon and Evil Geniuses are fighting for survival here at MSI 2022. Now, a win here could lock the LCS champions in semifinals, but PSG have shown solid growth across the past few days. And honestly, were the impetus for the entire shakeup we've seen so far here in the Rumble stage to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, their initial win, breaking G2's win streak there. The big thing that I am very nervous about, I guess, as having watched like North American teams kind of falter in the past, is that when the stakes get higher, you tend to play more nervously, right? Like especially in a meta where we're playing for those 5v5 scaling team fights. And I mean, I guess that applies to both teams, right? Because I do think both of these teams are going to be more mid-game focused. They're definitely going to be more team fight focused. And hopefully not hesitant.
Well, but to exactly your point, I think it's an interesting makeup for both teams where you've got a slate of veterans on both sides as well as a few young guns. And so who will feel the pressure and which kind of core of those veterans will ultimately outperform? Looking at the side of PSG and what has worked, we've talked all tournament long about Kaiwing being kind of the leader for this squad in starting those team fights that now seem to always go their way.
And that was the big shift that came through for them, putting Hanabi consistently on the cannons, champions that actually allowed him. Even the matches that they lost, we saw some of the hints of this, because if you go back to his Gnar plays during groups, if you go back to his Gnar plays at the beginning of Rumble, they might not have actually picked up the wins that they may be looking for, but you could already see kind of the signs that if this team would actually be able to make everything click, as they have done now, they're quite an adept team, and I'd imagine EG is pretty nervous facing them.
Now, time and time again, we've referenced the draft from the first meeting against G2 as kind of being that pivot point for the squad in the Rumble stage, but I'll reference the second one as well, where it seems like, again, this team has landed on comfort picks above all else to find their success.
Yeah, you see a similar thing where it's like, okay, we have the Lee Sin, we're going to make sure our mid laner is okay, they're in a matchup that they're comfortable with, and then, again, the most important thing is Unified and Kaiwing being on a hyper carry like the Tristana. Tristana Rel has been their go-to bot lane, right, in a lot of these wins.
Not to be outdone, of course, EG finding exactly the same thing in their win against T1. Back to comfort, back to what has worked for them in their home region.
And I loved it, not only because it helped T1 a little bit, and then he gave Gumayushi finally the courage to pick up Aphelios back again, but also because EG, to me, were a team that their score and their performance against G2 as well in the groups, it didn't really do justice to how well the team had been performing. And I'm expecting them to go to a very similar style as what we're seeing here against T1. I don't think that they're going to pivot away. I don't think the priority on things like the Kai'Sa should come in for them. Just draft something that's very similar to this. Draft something where you can kind of leave Danny alone, let him farm in the bot lane, and on the rest of the map, make stuff happen there.
Well, a win here for EG would ultimately be living up to the hype of the team that had such a run in their domestic playoffs. Now, a win here would send EG to the semifinals, but PSG have shown that they are still a force to be reckoned with here at MSI 2022. Let's see if they can rise in the final hour as we leave it to Drakos and Kobe.
Thank you, Dash.
It's getting hot in here, Drakos.
Yeah, I had my, as an EU pundit, let's say disappointing result. Let's see if you're
trying to bring me down?
No, I'm just saying, let's see if your fortunes will be better on this fine day in the second game as an NA pundit.
Okay,
of course,
I'm ready to receive your blessing.
Please, sir, for the sake of G2 esports, if you could, I don't know, believe in EG for me?
G2's best chances are now if EG beats PSG. So a lot of European fans should actually be rooting for NA now.
Yeah, so if you tweeted anything bantery or toxic at EG in the last few days, just like maybe roll it back a little bit, send them some good luck messages.
JK, it's all a joke. It's a joke.
Just banter, bro. Just banter. Anyway, so EG win, obviously lock knockout stage. PSG win, they secure at least a tiebreaker for knockout stage. We'll keep you guys updated, and there is a foldy sheet on the LOL Esports Stats Twitter if you want to follow along at home. But now we are into the draft. Rel already taken off the board.
So after beating us 5 times, now you come to us in your time of need. Well, EG, I think it is a good ban here with the Rel Unified and Kaiwing have been monsters for PSG. And the Tristana Rel has been a combination they have really, really successfully been able to utilize. So much bottom lane focus actually here from EG, pinpointing the most successful area of PSG's team.
And I wonder if we're going to see any Ahri attention thrown at Bay. Had a pretty solid performance. I think probably his best performance across the tournament on that champion. That said, only 1 ban left, so it's really going... Something powerful is going through. With the amount of target bans that are coming out, one of the meta power picks will make it through.
LeBlanc, Twisted Fate, Ahri, so many mid lanes. You know, with all of the focus on bottom lane here, mid lane is wide open.
Yeah, and we're seeing this is very... Clearly, EG are comfortable with the power picks remaining open. They just want the comfort picks to be taken off the board.
I think with this Gwen ban too, you know, EG might be edging towards an Ornn pick. It's very early. We haven't seen any of the actual picks yet, but it's just feeling like an EG tank top for impact type of game may very well be the case. That LeBlanc is the one, and I think that's the correct. If you're going to go with one mid lane ban against JoJo, it's a LeBlanc. This champ was banned against him like 27 times in a row in LCS, and for good reason. He does pick up the Ahri in trade for it though, so that's your cost.
See what the response is now going to be from Bay, what option PSG want to go to. But frankly, Kobe, I know that sometimes EG get a little bit of flack when they continue to draft towards the things that won for them in playoffs. But honestly, if you can get an Ornn and even a Jinx, I don't think Jinx is great in the context of the meta, but it is great in the hands of Danny. And I think when your cards are down, we heard Emily talk about this, when the pressure is on, go towards what you know. Personally, it just always feels like the best option.
There's extra flavor text on Jinx for if Danny picks it. You just get you know, an extra Baron fight win. So
sure,
that's always nice to have. You know?
There you go, Danny's hidden passive. There you go. It's a pentakill and a Baron steal. That said, Juhan, obviously...
they knew it too! They knew it too! They're listening.
They're listening.
Smart.
They know.
Honestly, though, I do think it's smart. You know, with the Gwen taken away, Gwen is one of the things that you're most kind of scared up there. Impact, though, he's got other counters. The Mordekaiser has been, to me, the most successful look that he's had into it. He also was able to win with the Aatrox, though I really do feel like Aatrox is a bit a remnant of the past as far as he used to be able to bully Ornn more heavily in lane. And nowadays, you see, like, okay, 10 CS. Honestly, Ornn doesn't care about 10 CS at all.
Certainly, yeah.
Ornn will wipe his butt with 10 CS. So.
Wow, okay, there you go. There it is. Completely unconcerned, it would seem.
Yes.
Absolute disrespect to the...
Then he'll forge that into an item for his teammates.
Wow, God. Okay. Well, you certainly paint a picture, don't you, Mr. Hartman Kensler? GP, there you go. So another defensive option on the side, paired with a Nocturne now. So global, semi-global pressure coming out from the side of EG. Curious to see what PSG go for. One of my favorite parts about Gangplank is how impossible he makes it for immobile AD carries to play the game. And immobile AP carries, if that is going to be...
I think both teams actually are going to
to value mobile carries in this game. Obviously, there's dive on both sides. Whenever you do have Ornn as well, it greatly reduces priority on any sort of AD carry that's even like Jinx that does not have a way to easily avoid Ornn ultimates. And since there's no like wind walls or anything on the EG side, they would have to worry about that. It's more all in here too, followed up. Vex, I love Vex and dive comps. So good for mid lane because it's a very bursty champion with super long range follow up there. So PSG, the setup here so far is more tanky than the EG lineup and has pretty good dive itself. So Gangplank though, I do have confidence in impact on top side. Gangplank will make you pay more money for every extra CS that you're giving up there, so does also afford possible bottom side plays. EG do love to spend globals down towards bottom side to Danny, so Nocturne plus Gangplank possibilities. But speaking of those AD carries, they take the Jinx out anyway.
And they take the Renato away as well too, and I really like this because already you can see PSG's composition controls space incredibly well. The Ornn, the Vex makes it very hard for anyone to follow up. Yes, Nocturne's going to be unstoppable when he leaps in, but no one else is going to be. So denying any other potential follow-up champions or counter-engaged champions from the side of PSG makes sense. That said, hyper carries clearly what PSG is looking to target.
I completely agree with that. With the Renata ban, I'm thinking EG probably Nautilus angle for them, regardless of what Danny ends up getting. Okay, Tristana banned out. That's one of the best pairings with it. But with the double AD carry ban here, this does kind of whittle it down back towards Kai'Sa Ezreal sort of combinations. EG obviously would, to my favor, prefer the Kai'Sa angle, but also if you give up Ezreal, then you've got more ways to get out of Gangplank ultimate there on the PSG side. So those two probably the AD carries as far as the meta that we're looking at. Xayah still has value whenever you're looking at that dive though.
Xayah banned, of course, so that does limit the options. They want to take that one away.
Oh
so
my.
Kai'Sa locked. I like the Kai'Sa. I like especially taking away from EG.
Ah, finally. We've been wondering. Okay, so the Senna of these hovers, the Senna was my favorite of the hovers. We've been actually waiting for Danny to finally pull it out. Danny has loved and put a lot of time in on actually supportive AD carry picks on the bottom side of the map. He actually played a bunch of Seraphine AD carry as well. It's not going to be that though. It is going to be his Samira.
Okay, here's the thing. I like it, but it is a big confidence pick. If Danny feels good, if Danny gets a couple kills, I believe in Danny. If he starts to fall behind, Samira is a miserable champion to play.
So, funnily enough, when they were forming this EG team and they were pulling in, these more veteran players like Inspired, Impact, they actually had to make a video of JoJo and Danny's play to recruit Inspired, to convince him, like, hey, these are not just random rookies that we've got on the team. And I believe the Danny pentakill on Samira was included in that. So we shall see if he can repeat. He used the Samira once here at MSI to little effect, and there is much more importance on this game. With the Nautilus, this is a very, very kill-oriented lane towards bottom side. Nautilus, Samira, really, really potent all-in threat, and with a Gangplank and Nocturne ultimate ready for the Rs on the bottom side of the map as well. Definitely expect EG to try and get kills on Unified and Kaiwing. I'd say that's the best strat you can actually use against PSG, because Unified is the carry for this team.
Yeah.
He is the most critical part of this team in all of the success that PSG have had.
And when you look at reliable damage output, Unified is the guy, right? Like, Lee Sin can have great moments if Juhan gets ahead. Bae, yes, we've seen Vex be very impactful, but Kai'Sa is the reliable source of damage on this team. And you've got an Ornn, you've got a Leona, you've got a Lee Sin to disengage. You've got so many tools to make sure he can do what he wants to do. So if he gets shut down early, that feels like an easy path to victory for EG.
Definitely a big if, though, because Unified and Kaiwing have been monsters. Really, really strong performances from them. And of course, you've always got an Ornn problem for later to deal with. If left unattended, starting to upgrade Ornn items there for PSG later on into the game. Very secure team fight for them with the front line. And of course, the dive options. Anytime you've got Kai'Sa, Vex, and Ornn, easy access to the back line.
We're going to be trading dives back and forth. We got the GPRE Nocturne on one
Who's diving
side.
who?
Who's
It's a circle of dive.
Who's the dived? Who's the divey?
Okay, so if all 4 members dive to the enemy backline, then all of a sudden, is that now your front line? If both teams send 4 members to the, it's a Red Rover, and they're just exchanging front lines?
I would say yes. Then we just see this sad 1v1 between Kaiwing and Danny. They both watch everyone else leap past them at light speed. Luckily, Danny wins that one. Pretty much. Not in the early levels because Leona, Aftershock, Ignite, you know, strong champion. But
a lot riding on this game for both of our regions.
Yeah. Kobe, you're completely right. I mean, I feel lighthearted. I feel like we're having a good time, but this is sort of do or die. Not completely at this point, but it does start to feel that way for both teams. It's not an elimination match, but ultimately EG can lock here, and PSG can get one step closer. PSG can guarantee at least a tiebreaker game. So it is big for both these teams. In our last game, it was just G2 with stakes on the line, but this time around, it's both squads. Everybody needs to be playing at top form.
All right, deep breaths then. In through the nose, hold, and out through the mouth. Okay.
Reset.
Any sort of deep wards going on? Ward on red buff here for PSG is going to alert them that by process of elimination, you will have a Nocturne starting top side. Nocturne, you can safely assume, will almost always be doing a full clear for the full first clear.
No.
So Unified and Kaiwing know they will have a possible 315, 330 visit from Nocturne if there's Scuttle Crab action going on.
Yeah. With Lee Sin clearing top 2 bot and now spotted out by this ward here. Also means that Danny and Vulcan are going to have to play a little bit careful. Luckily, they have the cleanse to get out of difficult situations, but the all-in won't favor them as the exhaust there from Unified does make things quite difficult. Of course, exhausting Inspired if he does come for a gank. Mitigates so much of that potential damage.
Impact with the trial by fire. Grasp, proc, and a Q in the back there. Gangplank early on, of course, level 1. Tales have been sung about this champion, Daniel, and many a top laner
the
have
tale
felt
is,
that burn.
leave me alone, you angry pirate. Why do you have
Nice
2
chain,
abilities
too.
at level 1?
The early barrel chains, I find the most impressive because the cooldown is still so long. You got to get those autos on the first one there.
It takes a year for the barrel
even
to
set
tick
it
down.
up. Yeah, and so the most impressive
There it
early
is.
game barrel with a very low impact.
There it is. No pun intended. Impact ticks over
You don't
level
know me.
3. I don't, yeah. Pun completely intended. Everything calculated, everything 5-head. Juhan moving in. Is opted to contest instead of going for his own blue buff. Inspired now moving in with the Fear.
Yeah. Inspired Smite was not ready yet. It just comes off cooldown now. So Juhan was able to successfully steal away the largest of the popcorn chicken.
That stuff tastes good.
The best tasting.
Yeah, you don't want to lose it. The best chicken, not to go back to too much stuff.
I mean, Deficio came to visit the other day, and we all went out for
chicken.
For chicken, indeed. So
it's a chicken-themed stage. We've had a lot of different discussions on chicken.
True. Another early game barrel from Impact Landing. Honestly, the poke at first doesn't really matter to Ornn, but if you're able to successfully whittle through all of the potions, and he's only got one more biscuit left here for Hanabi. Impact really does start to gain more presence for Inspired to control topside jungle, which for Nocturne.
Well, I thought Jojo in trouble. No, it is so important, as you highlight. I think the other big thing that people forget about is that Ornn level 6 with Spellbook, this man will one-shot you. He picks Ignite, he all-ins you. So when you keep him low, it limits those opportunities. It limits the chance for Ornn to turn this lane.
All right, so Inspired's just going to finish off with the Scuttle Crab and then wrap back around for the Wolves that he skipped over in order to get down to bottom side earlier and try and throw off the timers from Juhan. But, of course, Juhan still got that critical Raptor steal. Meanwhile, early push in here from Bay, successful on the Vex. The Vex, of course, one of the most common counter picks into Ahri. We did not elaborate on because it is so frequent, but again, burst champion, being able to make use of the passive as Ahri tries to jump around with ultimate and being able to interrupt those dashes. Very, very successful in mid-jungle 2v2s, but it looks like the jungles are going topside, and that's going to be our first 2v2.
Juhan spotted. More CC on the side of PSG, more damage on the side of EG. Impact.
Trying to bait.
Low overall. Now trying to get the Fear locked up. Juhan can go back in, but instead it's just going to leap right out. Impact in the 1v1. Hanabi ahead in terms of health overall. They have to be careful here. Inspired winning his 1v1. It's a bit of a split fight. jojopyun on the way up.
Impact.
Playing on the edge there.
So they see Kaiwing now. They've got full vision of the extra roam, and Vulcan on the minimap is going for the experience wave in mid. This is not a terrible thing, though. Because of the importance of Rift Herald, support's getting a solo wave of experience here for the rotation of your mid lane towards top is actually, could be, if he gets level 6 by 8 minutes, depending on the amount of further roaming that he does, could be big.
Danny going for the Blade World, aggressive trade in the 1v1. Obviously, very easy for him to come out on top, especially with the passive stacked, all that extra movement speed. But it's a fantastic thing to call out. Obviously, something we saw a lot in the past when Damwon Kia were at the top of the world. It was Barrel roaming into mid to leech a little bit of XP to get level 6 just a little bit ahead of the clock, and it can be so massive for any fights to come. Yeah.
Problem is that supports do so much roaming now that we have even had level 4 supports sometimes by 8 minutes, depending on how much camping you're doing through the jungle, looking for wards and stuff. And Vulcan only now getting back to lane to try and soak some extra CS experience up as well. Wave will be pushing towards them, so no reason for the EG bottom lane to extend themselves. Unified already has it going in their favor and should be able to get it right in time for this rotation through to Dragon.
Yeah, good use of the pressure that they have in the mid and bot lane to keep things going. So they're going to grab this first Drake. It looks like uncontested, although Inspired moving down, maybe looking for a sneaky play here, maybe looking to sap some XP. Level 6 is just around the corner.
So they show in lane just to hard push the bottom lane. Honestly, this is a really good window for PSG. Completely timing EG there. You mentioned mid lane was already pushed in as well, but definitely the benefits of syncing both your mid and bottom push. Really, really effortless first Dragon pickup here for PSG, which is very good considering they are the Ornn team, and their level 6 spike is going to be quite nasty. EG, of course, will have the extra global from top lane once Impact does feel like it's time to use it for a big play on bottom side. Everybody has summer spells though, so no big vulnerabilities yet. And it's actually kind of difficult to secure those kills on all these targets with flashes.
The good news is, because Nocturne started top side, second blue is up faster, so Jojo should have blue, should be able to walk back to mid, get blue. Inspired will have 6, Impact will have ulti, and Herald should be a much, much easier fight, even if that Dragon was uncontestable. Have to see if that is what they opt for, as Bay, for now at least, has had total control of mid lane push.
So a lot of times what I'll do on Nocturne is just take second blue anyway. Of course, it's solo queue. Oh, he did take it. Okay, good.
Oh, dang.
So a lot of times, yeah, Nocturne will just take second blue because second blue will be on for your first ultimate and get you to that level 6. So Inspired now is level 6 off of blue and Gromp and ready to try and punish this roam. Juhan, though, on Lee Sin, also level 6, and the Rift Herald's been started up.
jojopyun stepping forward, trying to bait, it looks like, but Lee Sin is still in the area. jojopyun has to be careful. That's the Cannon Barrage. Hooking the minion, not what they wanted. Bay going in for mid more, he's going to get one! Absolute confidence from the PCS mid laner.
Hitting that Vex ultimate early, Bay just holding on to it, waiting for it. And again, this is why you counterpick with Vex. Goes in after the big chunk, bursts down Jojo, and the reward is going to be the Rift Herald. Jojo will be alive, but he doesn't have his teleport ready, so I don't know. EG are bringing up Samira. They're actually going to fight this. Kai'Sa is bottom side. It'll be a 4v4 with Jojo running from base.
Such a gamble. If this goes wrong, the entire game's going to turn against him. The gold was dead even, but now Vulcan's just going to get knocked down. Inspired going into the midst of the entire team. Danny wants the reset. He denies the Ornn ultimate. Inferno trigger. Danny, this is his time. There's too many members waiting in the area. Can he get more kills? Juhan now running for his life. Hanabi retreating as well. An absolute bloodbath. It looked like disaster, but somehow EG have hold on. They've stopped the Herald for now. Hanabi on the escape.
EG only got 1 kill out of that, though, and a lot of resources. Let's see if it actually becomes worth it. Mid lane, or bottom lane, was only pushed in, so, you know, Unified didn't get any turret plates or anything in payment for it, but I really thought that was a good setup from PSG. They turn and they get off of Herald, and my goodness, the investment there, Daniel, just to stop the Rift Trail. They do get the extra kill, but here's another look at the start. Again, so Kaiwing goes in, and Jojo's trying to bait, but this is where the ultimate lands, and then Bay holds onto it. As Jojo's burning down, once everybody's far enough away, he goes in for the burst, gets the double fear on Vulcan, so Vulcan gets moved up towards the top side too. Just a beautiful assassination there from Bay, but then EG make the call. Danny, get up here. We're fighting this. We are not giving it away, and it starts to get messy. Vulcan flashes, still goes down. Inspired then flashing into the entire team. Danny as well, and Inspired gets off the spell shield, does go down. They give up the extra kill, And in the end, it's only the 1 picked up for EG, 2 more kills for PSG, and they still can return to this Rift Herald.
And I mean, it's good. The goal still remains pretty even. PSG back in control of the area, but it looks like it could be another fist fight. Danny isolated on the bottom side. We were an immortal shield bow.
The patience is gone.
Away. Oh, hold that thought. Lee Sin now just going to get burst demo before the fight even kicks off and not giving Bay the chance to do it one more time. The fear comes out, but jojopyun still on the hunt. Bay running.
Yeah, no flash.
Good stun comes out, but it's just going to buy a little bit of space. The double kill for EG. That is big.
The war of the Rift Herald, PSG versus EG. This was round 2, Daniel. All right, PSG, they won round 1. EG come back strong in round 2. They get it, and it seems like they've got supremacy over the Rift Herald now. They've been fighting over this objective for a good 2.5 minutes.
Kobe, I'm going to be honest. If that first one had gone worse, I thought the game was over. The fact that EG stayed their ground, that they came back, that they forced that fight there is so good now, because not only do they have the gold lead from all these kills that they're now getting, they're going to extend that gold lead with the power of this Herald.
It does mean that they've left less resources on bottom side, and Danny did get pushed in. The reason why EG were able to have an extra person, of course, up at the first round of Rift Herald fight, the Great Rift Herald War, as we'll now refer to it, was that, you know, Danny on the Samira had been able to push in bottom lane. That's why Unified only got to get CS, didn't get to get pushed up to the tower in the first instance, and had to go for the recall. But this time around, they're actually able to wait. Vulcan gets back in time, and EG, while they were able to finally get that Rift Herald, and they've got time to use it before the 14-minute mark and those plates fall off, PSG will continue with the Dragon stacking. And 2 is not necessarily a problem. 2 is a trend. 3 is definitely a problem. And of course, you know, 4 is the actual soul. So we shall get back to our Rift Herald.
Yes. Good math with Kobe. 1 hook plus 3 other abilities equals a deadly sin. There's some more math for you as Bay runs. And of course, no flash because
you've got 3 members of EG traveling from Rift Herald, and Bay moving at approximately 3 meters per second. Which one dies?
How does it feel to finally use your college degree, Kobe? How does it feel?
If that's what an engineering degree gets you, then I've been ripped off.
I assumed it was that and a bunch of debt. I assumed that was about it. All right, Danny pushing in bottom side. Of course, Kraken Slayer has been finished for Unified. Have to hope for Danny's sake that he has finished Shield Bow. I don't think there are very few champions in the game more dependent on that first mythic than Samira. So really important to get that one. And
I'm actually sweating out here. It's
so warm in
the studio.
Why do you have a jacket on still? The camera's not on us. You don't have to impress it.
I have to impress you, okay?
No,
don't sell yourself short.
I'm impressed, my friend.
Thank you.
You're good at math. You got a quick wit. You're delirious from not sleeping. You're everything I could want in a co-caster. And, well, EG, they've got everything they could want in a mid laner as JoJo is 3-1. That said,
40 seconds left on this Rift Herald to acquire plate money. And everybody knows, if you let your first Rift Herald go without getting plate money, then... Oh, never mind.
There it is. 1, 2, 3, shut down. It's so fast I don't even have time to talk about it. That was incredibly clean from the PSG. 1 moment, jojopyun is caught sleeping, and it's going to cost them, and it might cost them a plateless Herald. CC coming out, I going to get interrupted, but nope, the charge will come through, so at least a bit of money over to the side of EG.
Yeah, Inspired getting it. If you activate the Rift Herald, always feels good for the jungler. You're going to get the money. JoJo, though, man, this Vex counterpick. Bay has been pinpoint accuracy with the ultimate, constantly blowing him up. If that happens during a team fight, it's actually even worse because you can actually do something with the reset of the Vex ultimate and go back in for round number 2. But these 2 assassinations that they've gotten so far on him have been really well timed. It still did not actually give them enough time to kill the Rift Herald, but it did mean EG didn't get to push in with it and get more.
And this is huge for PSG. Again, there are huge stakes in this game. Reminder, EG win, they are through. PSG win, they are guaranteed at least a tiebreaker. But it's big for PSG looking forward because, I mean, Juhan and Bay were kind of the odd guys out. We always looked at the bot lane and the top side. These are the reliable players we know them to be. Juhan and Bay a little bit all over the place, especially in Stage 1. But in Stage 2, they've been getting better and better, and I feel like the criticisms I've been hearing about Bay have been getting quieter and quieter as this has gone on, because right now, these are the 2 guys who are making stuff happen.
Yeah, where are you now? Getting kind of quiet, huh?
Where are you now, haters?
JoJo, you're pretty rich. I saw you at the top of the gold ladders. What's up now, kid? Is that
Yeah, that wasn't quite what I had in mind, but I like it. It's definitely more compelling.
That was the that was the dramatic reenactment.
Yeah, that said he is still 1, 2, and 3, so maybe I should wait before we try to sell that as the story. But definitely the plays have been clean. Lee Sin the beneficiary of those kills and ahead of the Nocturne 4 now, so looks pretty solid for the side of PSG. EG holding on to the gold lead though. PSG with the Dragons an advantage.
All right, Trinity Force done on the top side for Impact. Level 11 for rank 2 Gangplank ultimates. And again, bottom side, so much pressure here because they have that Gangplank ultimate, because they have Nocturne ready to go. PSG always have to wait and catch the minion wave at the remnants of their tower. It's just really a matter of time of when EG push that go button to the bottom side to finish up that bottom tower. And again, first, ooh, that was
hit the wall. I think that was a
dead Vulcan. There's some hooks you throw out and you're like, you know what? I'm glad it didn't hit. But bottom side, again, the first turret bonus is basically an extra plate of money. So it's not, game breaking, but it certainly is an extra bonus that you'd love to have, especially when you are a team like EG trying to get as much money funneled into Danny as possible. Samira, a much earlier spiking AD carry, but Shield Bow now gives you the confidence to jump in to the middle of these team fights, try and get those super high value YouTube highlight Inferno Trigger plays off.
And we'll see the second item looks like it's going to be Lord Dominic's, so it makes it that much easier to make those plays happen when you can start to ignore a lot of the armor that Hanabi is putting together. Keep in mind it is triple AD.
I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, he's already a lot of passion for a cannon, dude. You sound like the Secret Lab ad.
So, people always say the laners, never mind. We're going to have a big fight, so let's get on topic here. Vulcan flash.
Flash over the wall. Whiffs goes into the wall, but that's going to be the Kai'Sa getting isolated off to the side for now. They're just focusing on burning down Bay before the fight even starts. This is big. EG have the momentum. Danny, 3 stacks, looking for that A rank, looking for that S rank. He's going up. Is he going to pass his classes? We're going to find out. That's coming through, waiting to go over the wall, taking his time on this one. The trigger will foul away if he doesn't auto something soon. Keeping the stacks going. Will ult the blue buff. Another pick going over for JoJo.
When you've got Gangplank and Nocturne ultimates ready, again, you're just itching to use them, Drakos.
Vulcan. It's a rough hook.
He heard you and he gave you a thumbs up. He's like, what? What do you want? Ram his thumbs up. Okay, Drakos, I heard you. What do you want? We just won the fight. We're going to get the dragon. We're stopping their stacking. Again, it's just a matter of time when you have these globals here. Nocturne and Gangplank ultimates. Honestly, it was a really nice prep, though, for it, because more important, you can always use those globals, but more important is the rest of the members. And the timing there from EG, getting in with the extra vision and flashing over this mid-brush wall right on top of PSG. They immediately assassinate him. Nocturne ultimate actually back into their own team. So here's another look. Vulcan's going for Unified, but does force the flash out of him. And they're like, you know what? We'll take Bay, sure. Ornn flashes out, and Vex comes right into the middle. Those are the types of plays that you get when Nocturne turns out the lights. PSG, one member in, one member out. It's the most underrated part of Nocturne is not just the dash in, but of course the disharmony it sows in the enemy team, and those sorts of plays where one member in, the other member out, looks like a super free kill and a super free objective for EG. Round 2 though.
Hold that thought, hook and a character on the support waiting now. Inspired is to use the ult. Is going to try to isolate Kai'Sa off the side. Remember, she can't see anybody else. Trying to dash away. No flash means Unified down before the fight even begins. Now it's Bay flashing from JoJo. Absolute confidence. The knockup's now coming in. Impact off to the side. Barrels getting stacked, and there's so much damage. Inferno Trigger and a double for Danny. Make it 3. The Herald to fall as well, and suddenly EG are wiping the floor with PSG.
Nah, man. Rejoice, North America. EG are looking like they're going to run this one straight to the base. Another clean pick-off mid-game fights. Huge stuff. Inspired knows, guess what? They forced the flash out of Kai'Sa in the previous fight, so there is nothing stopping him from going on the isolated Unified. Everybody else from EG jumping in, and JoJo, what a beautiful flash Everfrost over the edge of the Baron wall there to ensure that they pick up 2 more kills. And they're just winning these fights as soon as they start them. Just incredibly clean. Back-to-back mid-game teamfight wins for EG. Whenever you get that sort of momentum in a game, honestly, it just makes it feel like PSG are going to have to come out with miracles at this point to get back into it. Inspired, beautiful job, isolating and jumping on, and then boom, there's that flash Everfrost we were talking about into the beautiful chain. Danny following it up as well.
And the thing is, in an even state, it feels impossible for PSG to play these fights out if EG pulled the trigger first. Because you lose the vision, which means Bay can't follow up on any ultis, which means Unified can't use his ult to really move around the fight. He's just stuck where he is. And when they're ahead, in any circumstance, it feels impossible, because that's a collector Gangplank. That's 2 items on Danny. That's the Shadow Flame on Jojo. Everybody out-itemizing their individual opposition. And now EG are so far ahead that short of an absolute disaster, Kobe, and I say that, well aware of the history of NA and these high-pressure stakes, high-pressure matches, this is an EG victory. They have all the tools they need to win this game.
Okay, now that you've spoken the word, all right, we're doomed. I'm ready for the comeback now for PSG. How does it happen is really the only question left to be answered.
Well, they don't have like a traditional hyperscaling carry. Don't get me wrong, Kai'Sa is a hyperscaling carry, but it's not a sit in the back line, keep everybody around you, protect you kind of carry.
Hanabi is approaching 13, so he can upgrade his own item then. And they will be able to stack them out now, so should be able to upgrade his own item, and then PSG will have scaling possibilities towards very burst-focused dive, though. So the problem for PSG is that EG have the initiative. When they have Nocturne on their team, you can turn out the lights, you get to start the fight on your terms, and it's taking away one of the biggest strengths of this PSG comp, which is them going for the initiation. If you get to start it out with Ornn, Vex, Leona combinations, obviously you're going to have a much more successful team fight on your hands. And if they get one of those, there are objective bounties up now. So we have the possibilities here for PSG to still come back into it. But if EG again get to start their fight out with a Nocturne plus Gangplank ultimate, definitely looks good.
And Baron, obviously a big question. EG don't have a true tank in the traditional sense, but they do have 4 damage sources, so it would be a fast Baron, even if admittedly they take a decent amount of damage. For now, they focus on breaking down the mid lane tier 1. PSG trying to stay grouped. They know if a single member splits off and if they're on vision, Inspired can fly in with a bit of GP ult backup and ruin their lives immediately. So for PSG, the name of the game is holding the line, surviving, getting a bit more time, looking for a pick. Going in on the impact, they see that jojopyun's not in the fight. They think maybe it's our time to shine, but they have no way to reactivate the Vex ult to get to the backside because the Nocturne ult takes away everything. Instantly, Jojo TP's in, and things are going from bad to worse. Yes, it's a tanky Ornn, but everyone else is going to get dropped. Unified trying to leap it to the backside, but he leaps right into the waiting arms of Danny, the Inferno Trigger, the S rank ready to go. Hanabi getting cut down as well. EG looking for a little bit more. Vulcan going in with the hook. He's going to get him. Follow up from Danny. Back here. The passive Danny. Spin, spin, spin. It's a golden bay though, but not nearly enough time to survive that one. Shell-shocked as Vulcan and EG find the fight.
Vulcan channeling the Scorpion there, pulls him back, and the evil geniuses have scaled their way straight through the Rumble stage. They are blasting PSG 23 minutes into the game, and now I feel safe to say they are running this one over.
5-0-7 for Danny, 7-2-7 for Jojo. And the thing is, Inspired 2-1-8. It's not the flashiest scoreline, but these Nocturne ults have been disgusting.
You know what that does to your team comms, Daniel? I can't see, I can't see. It's a good initiation here, and you think they're going to get the blast combo, but all of a sudden, Nocturne ultimate, and they can't see. I can't see, I can't see. What do? Everybody trying to kite backwards, and Jojo on Ahri here, the perfect one to follow up. They get the first assassination, then he gets into the backline to charm Bay. And by that time, even though the first kill was on the support, was on the Leona, both carries have also been neutralized. So EG can then dive multiple turrets here. Then Vulcan just on the outside, right at the entrance to those base gates, denies Juhan entrance into his own base. And they finish off the final kill as well.
Clean from EG. Now they are so far ahead that they begin beating them with their wallets portion of the game. It's nigh insurmountable.
They turn out the lights so they can't see, and then just start throwing money at them from different directions.
It's like a roll of quarters in a sock. It's not a good time. And for PSG, you have to feel, because the early game was so solid. Bay, Juhan working well together, Unified and Kaiwing doing fine in their individual laning. But once Inspired got off that ultimate around the second of the Great Rift Herald fights, the game fell apart.
And I also want to shout out the Anathemas, because that's one of my favorite things for especially Nocturne, to be able to build in competitive play. In solo queue, you almost always go for a Death Stance because, yeah, you want a 1v9 carry and survive longer, but Anathemas does so much in shutting down an enemy carry. The tenacity increase, or tenacity reduction, thereby increasing the length of your CCs on that carry, is really underestimated with this item. And so Inspired can jump in, and then, Charms, his fear, everything gets extended, and it makes it so Unified does not get to do any sort of work on this Kai'Sa. He's been locked down. He's 0-2. As we highlighted at the beginning of the match, he has been the success story for PSG. He is the crux of this team, the hardest of carries, and EG have completely shut him down.
And honestly, a lot by just fighting away from him. He was isolated on the bottom side. He was getting a gold advantage. He was ahead of Danny in terms of CS, but Danny was the one roaming to the play. Fought away from him in the early game, and it's really paid off. Now, the lead feels insurmountable. It is an open, exposed inhibitor. Baron has not fallen yet. EG not looking to take any big risks as far ahead as they are. They do not want to throw this game. This is still their game to qualify. If they win here, they qualify for top 4. After what has been such overall, up until the last few days, if we look at the first few days, we look at the 4 losses to G2, the 4 wins over Order. EG have not been happy with the performance, and fans have not been happy with the performance, but the rate at which they have improved has been incredible.
I think that's, well, never mind. We'll readjust and take our learnings after this game is over.
Certainly. Pick going to start off. That's a jungler gone. Nocturne ult is going to fade away. Target is still marked for Bane to leap in on. He is going to go immediately to the backside. He gets a little bit of damage down, but he just doesn't have the stats to get it done. Inspired is just tearing through his team. Impact there as well. Hanabi, yeah, he's a tank, but he's not peeling for anybody. There's nothing left to do. Inspired's going to grab that kill, and EG don't even need to take the Baron. They can just walk down mid.
Exactly. Impact here looking for the stragglers. Hanabi burning down, slowing down.
Oh, man. They've got the man advantage, but they're not sure if they can walk forward. So Kobe, tell me, you're okay. Were you happy until that? Would you have been happy without a top 4?
So you could follow. I would not have been happy without a top 4, but follow the curve. Here, wasted no time. Look at that emote as well. Smug about it. Impact says, "I know you saw that, and what are you gonna do about it? We're gonna take Baron that much quicker." We've got dinner scheduled, okay?
This man flashes over your Baron wall and starts autoing the Baron. What do? Nothing. You sit there. He's got 3 items.
Teleport comes in. Let's take a look at the turn. Again, EG with the Nautilus, with the Ahri. You don't get to move. Juhan's instantly dead. Jungler deleted, successful already. And then look at Unified. We're talking about how hard it is for him to play the game. A Nocturne with Anathemas jumps on you. The Fear Tether goes off while Gangplank ult is slowing you. You can't play the game at all.
Yep. And so you get collected at the end. You tick down to 5% one time. You get deleted. Gangplank gets a bit of extra money.
Yeah.
And you can see the frustration. There's just nothing. You can't. You're so far behind, even if you define in your laning phase, that there is nothing. You can't play the game.
Yeah. So let's follow the path though for EG, since we do have time as they push in with their. I mean, technically a 1-3-1, I guess, but 3 members are in jungle. But should be a 4-1 with Nocturne ultimate ready. You can always just jump over. But they came into this tournament focused on learning and improving and very ready to sustain losses from a lot of these Pool 1 seeds. And they did that. It's been according to the plan here, and they've really taken that learning into account and implemented it on stage.
Oh, kick back for Juhan. That's going to be big. That's a fight. Danny now dashing out. They're just too strong. Bane in the middle of everyone. They're landing every single skill, but it just does not matter. Papa Impact coming through with the pistol, making it work. The triple for the GP. Unified has to run, and that's going to be it. EG standing tall. Unified going to get hooked in the end. Vulcan a bit of redemption for some of those early game hooks. EG will find their way into the top 4, Kobe. They have taken notes, they have learned, they have adapted, and they will prove themselves worthy of top 4 at MSI.
There's a famous saying in League of Legends, and that is, lose is improve. EG have done just that here at MSI. Really, really proud of this team.
As you should be.
Incorporating the younger rookies with the veterans. Impact, Vulcan, Inspired, doing so much, with the younger guys, and it's all come together at the right time. There was an interview with Peter Dunn as well, talking about how they were still hiding some technology. So I'm incredibly excited for the best of series, because this game we had already seen the Samira. We had seen little peaks of it. There was one game already, not quite as successful. So nothing completely new shown this time around. Inspired obviously has used Nocturne before. This champ has been banned out, so definitely very, very promising future for that team. PSG not completely eliminated out of that top 4, but they do set their sights on G2. as that fight becomes incredibly heated.
Yeah, keep in mind.
Some possibilities there for PSG to still get it in, but
yeah, seeding yet to be decided, but RNG, T1, EG, all three are in for Rumble Stage. One spot left, 2 teams fighting for it is G2 and PSG, as you highlighted, and pressure is on now because PSG, I think, still the expected underdogs in that one, but G2 are the team that have been free-falling through the last few days in terms of individual and team performance, and
they've been streaking. They were first streaking upwards, now they're streaking downwards.
Or perhaps backwards home to Europe. That is going to be the question here.
To us.
To us.
Just come home.
Come here.
You can welcome them home in open arms. We're here in Berlin.
Crying out. I hope that's not the case.
Daniel's waiting for you.
Please, stay there. For this year's MSI, we asked the teams, though, to pick 4 tracks that they think could be their team anthem, and then asked you, the fans, to vote on the winner. For T1, you chose Runner by Raiden. Now you can listen to that and find all the team anthems on the official LoL playlist on Spotify. The Tears of European fans are not one of those anthems, and we will hope that that remains the case in the games to come today.
How the tables have turned. Now you're the one sweating.
The world is watching. Get on board. Check the lanes. Pay attention to the best. Join the ranks. Be the challenger. All in for the trophy. This is for all senses. This is for all players. Buckle up. Take notes. MSI 2022. Driven by Mercedes EQ.
Welcome back to the State Farm Analyst Desk, where EG lock in their spot in the MSI 2022 knockout stage with that victory there over PSG. We're going to work through it beat by beat. We'll start in the draft because admittedly, we were all pretty scared, Emily, when we saw what came to the table on the side of EG with, for example, the Samira lock-in.
Yeah, so I'll talk through the Samira a bit. Back when Danny was called Shiro, an NA amateur, this is one of his go-to picks. This is actually when I started looking at tape on Danny before he came into the LCS. He was absolutely destroying people with this pick. Obviously, the AD carry pool got pinched a lot here. I was extremely concerned about this draft because if you look at the opposition, PSG has everything they want, right? Like they have the Vex into the Ahri, they have the Lee Sin to get things rolling, they have Ornn. As we heard from Hanabi, Horn is bleep OP.
Yeah, we so classically talk about the difficulty of piloting a Samira if you fall behind. And so it definitely felt like the pressure was on for this EG squad to build an early lead.
It's the entire comp, honestly. Like this comp, barring maybe Impact getting like super fed early, has no win conditions if you can't just dive the enemy backline, right? Later in the game, if it's relatively even, you're not able to kill Ornn. And you're not really able to get past the Vex, whereas for PSG, there would be a lot of options. So not falling behind early here was key, and fortunately for EG, they were able to avoid that.
I was going to say a couple early skirmishes that didn't really necessarily give them that lead until eventually JoJo is able to find just a few picks, just a few kills to really start to get the ball rolling on that Ahri. With his lead, he would then be able to kind of pilot a number of team fights to help funneling gold to the rest of the squad.
Yeah, I mean, this is really big coming out, this team fight. This is also kind of like PSG don't necessarily have to take these fights early, which I think is important. Again, with their composition, they do outscale. So we've seen this from multiple teams at MSI where sometimes when they have the scaling composition, they still contest objectives. A lot of this was just, I mean...
That's a highlight.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of when the game started to get really, really off the rails. And once this composition started to snowball, they were able to pilot to victory off the back of JoJo, off the back of Inspired. I still think this team works best when it's like Inspired and Vulcan setting up JoJo and Danny for success. We saw some of that here, but JoJo just performed really well.
Because it started off with, you know, Vulcan like getting kind of caught, and then the first skirmish didn't go great, and the first Herald fight was still a little bit sus, but from that point on, as Emily pointed out, they needed to get that with the comp. They got such a big lead that you saw that PSG later on are like, do we start a fight? Like, do we try to maybe do something? But at that point, nothing really worked anymore because the amount of items that were available for AG meant that they could just blow up whoever they targeted.
And I mean, I think the big other thing is we saw them able to shut down Unified and Kaiwing, right? Like Unified and Kaiwing, Kaiwing was not able to initiate the fights that they would have wanted. And then Kaiwing did not have, Unified did not have the same impact on the Kai'Sa as he did on the Trist.
Yeah, we saw that, of course, play out probably in the best of ways around the Baron when it was a Nocturne ult into a GP ult that made him essentially useless in that fight here as well, having difficulty. And ultimately, this would be the fight, this Rift Herald here, where Danny really gets set up to be in that position where for the remainder of the game, he has the permission to go forward on Samira and get into the middle of the fight.
And I don't want to speak for you guys, but from an other region perspective, to me, it has often felt like NA, especially in high pressure situations, draft comps like this, and then it's just, we sit back. We take it easy, and we just wait and see what our opponent does. So seeing EG actually play as proactive as they did here, to me, was really nice and kind of continues the growth that they've shown this MSI.
And alternatively, from someone who like cares a lot about EG, like imagine being emotionally invested in things, disgusting. But
never in my life.
I'm actually so happy. I've seen them take so many bad fights early, right? In so many of their games, Dash knows what I'm talking about. So every time I'm just like, is this gonna go horribly wrong? Because once again, if this competition gets set back,
it's done.
It feels so bad.
They've made it to top 4. They have ramped up throughout this tournament. Still have another game to play today. Let's go ahead, though, and hear Vulcan on reaching semifinals in our Verizon post-game interview.
And we're back in Busan for the 5th day of the Rumble stage. And with this win, EG qualifies for knockouts. And Vulcan, thank you so much for joining me. Congrats on taking this one. Any first impressions on reaching the next stage?
It feels nice, especially after last year I went down for C9, and for me, losing to wildcard and not making it because of that was pretty painful. And now it kind of feels like redemption to be able to kind of beat every team that's like, they're not wildcard teams. I wouldn't consider the PCS as a wildcard region, but they're considered weaker than us, and it feels good to just prove to everyone that we're not that bad. And also we've recently upset T1, so overall feels very good.
Actually really good for the past few days, but we'll discuss that a bit later. Quick word on the draft though. There was a discussion on the desk about you being maybe outdrafted here. I want to talk about Samira. What was your reasoning behind this champion, especially given PSG's composition?
Samira is a pocket pick for Danny. Basically, he likes playing the champ a lot, and he plays it a lot in solo queue. And she has the ability to just stop Ornn's engage when he presses ult. She can just block it with W, and same for the Vex ult. So it kind of makes it so that they can't really go in on us when they want to. And it's super easy for us to go in on them when we want to, because we have the Nocturne and the Nautilus. So we kind of have much more ability to just start a fight whenever we want, and that just gives us so much control over the game, right?
Yeah, exactly. As you said, it feels like whoever has the initiative can win the team fights here. Maybe a couple words on this support, because it feels like this role is drafted rather late, usually for most teams. How do you explain that?
Well, I think there's not a support that's like really OP right now, and it also helps a lot to see the whole comp and kind of picking a champ that synergizes well with your team and can maybe counter the enemy team comp. I say that, but I just played Nautilus into Leona for like maybe the 1000th time of competitive history, right? So not too much going on there, but generally there's not support that's too strong. So it's better to see the whole draft and then pick something depending on what you see, right? So.
All right. Now a bit of overview. As you said, you beat T1 yesterday. You beat also ramping up PSG. I feel today a couple words on EG and your biggest improvements over the past days.
I think it's just to do with confidence, and we've gotten more used to the stage. We've played different team comps a bit where we have, like I said earlier, the ability to go in, and the initiative, like you said, was a good point. It just makes it so that it's much easier to be all on the same page, and you just go in and then you just let your fingers play the team fight, and I think we're not too bad at that. So I think, just gaining confidence and looking much better now.
Very impressive to see. Now, all eyes on the next game, I want to say, EU versus NA once again. Let's not talk about the tracking record for now, but given G2's recent form, what's your take on the next game and your ability to take them down?
I think we'll take them down. We had so many close games, and if I hadn't run it down in the Rumble stage in the previous one, we would have won. And now I think we'll take them out, and then everyone only remembers the last game. So even though we would be 1-5 after that one, it still feels good for the ego battle to win the last game against them. That'd be very nice.
It's going to be a banger matchup. It always comes down to this. Anyway, Vulcan, thank you so much for joining me. Congrats again on reaching knockouts.
Thank you.
And Berlin, back to you.